What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Nacho Wrestling. AEW Wrestledream is just a few short days away on Saturday, October 18th, and I figured now is a better time than never to go ahead and get that video out for my predictions, because we are just about 50 minutes away from the go-home show on Wednesday for Dynamite. But before we get into my predictions, be sure to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and leave a comment. And don't forget to hit the bell to stay up to date on all things Nacho Wrestling. And if this is your first time watching a Nacho Wrestling video, why don't you consider hitting the subscribe button? I'm trying to reach 500 subscribers, and your help would be greatly appreciated. With all that out of the way, let's get on to my AEW Wrestledream predictions. First up, we have Thekla taking on Jamie Hayter in singles competition. I don't really think there's anything about barring Triangle of Madness from ringside, so fully expect Jamie Hayter and Sky Blue, not Jamie Hayter, Julia Hart and Sky Blue to get involved with this match and probably help Thekla get the win, because I think that just advances the story of Jamie Hayter and a possible partner taking on Thekla and one of her partners in the tag tournament for the women's tag titles. Just kind of makes sense. So, like I said, give me Thekla. Next up, we have The Demand, which is Ricochet and Gates of Agony taking on the Hurt Syndicate, MVP, Shelton Benjamin, and Bobby Lashley. I really love both these teams, and for the life of me, I cannot remember how their street fight ended on the 2.5 hour Title Tuesday edition of Dynamite last week. So, I'm just going to go with who I really want here. And who I really want is The Demand. I really like The Demand. I'm high on The Demand. The Demand is in demand, if you will. Sorry for the shitty pun. But I think they're great. I think they should get the win. I think this is maybe where they get the win. They try to rough up the Hurt Syndicate after the match. And then maybe Hurt Syndicate is like, oh, we got a new guy. And, you know, whoever that new guy is, I'm not sure, but it'd be cool if they finally, you know, brought up somebody or debuted somebody. Just, I don't know, so MVP can get out of the ring. I know MVP probably doesn't really want to wrestle that much anymore, so he's fine doing the manager stuff, and he's great at it. But with all that, you know, Jabber John aside, give me The Demand, and let's move on. Next up, for the AEW World Tag Team titles, we have Brodito defending against the two-man power trip of the new IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, Konosuke Takeshita, and the AEW Unified Champion, AEW International Champion, and AEW Continental Champion, I think I got all of that right, Kazuchika Okada. All those accolades aside for all those men, Brodito are one of the hottest acts in AEW. It'd be silly for them to lose the belts now, but if they lost the belts to this two-man power trip of the Don Callis family, Takeshita and Okada, I mean, I wouldn't be shocked. I think it makes more sense for Brodito to get the win after a possible inadvertent strike from Okada to Takeshita, or vice versa. Or honestly, the strike may not even be inadvertent. Okada may just straight up hit the Rainmaker on Takeshita and like leave Don Callis family. I don't know. All that fantasy booking of Don Callis family aside, give me Brodito winning and retaining and staying AEW World Tag Team Champions. Next up, it's the big money match, the $500K match. It's the Young Bucks taking on Jurassic Express. One thing I want to note that I've seen a lot online, like in Twitter and, you know, Reddit and Instagram and everything like that, is that possibly Jack Perry's still a bad guy with the way he's been treating Luchasaurus. It's very similar and akin to how Christian treated him as Killswitch and everything like that. And I kind of get that a little bit, like in that one tag match they had, like he ripped off the turnbuckle and was trying to cheat and then was yelling at Luchasaurus and stuff. But I also think Luchasaurus is kind of playing dumb to it. Like they want the Bucks. Hear me out, they're playing 4D chess because they've matured, they've gotten older, they've gotten wiser. They're trying to outsmart the Bucks who have outsmarted them before, and they're kind of clashing to throw them off the scent, and then they're gonna both realize, or they're both gonna come together and have a more aggressive attitude going forward. I think that would be cool. And I think Jurassic Express is going to get the win because honestly, the Young Bucks are much more fun when they're doing the poor stuff now. They've really found something good there, like being struggling. I think it's funny, because like you're still working. Like, how bad are the contracts now? It's just funny. So yeah, give me Jurassic Express winning the big money match. Next up for the TNT Championship, we have the 5th match of the series between Kyle Fletcher, Mark Briscoe. And I don't need to spend any time on this match because Kyle Fletcher is winning. I mean, come on. If Foresight was Tony Khan's superpower, he would have had Kyle Fletcher win every single match before this one, and he would be up 4-0, and this whole, 5th match stipulation or gimmick wouldn't really matter because they're tied 2-2 right now, which, cool. An inadvertent rubber match is always fun, but Kyle Fletcher's winning. He's not losing that TNT title for a while. I don't even know who he would lose to be honest with you. Next up, we have for the AEW Women's World Championship, Kris Statlander defending her belt against the former champion, Toni Storm. And I swear to you on my life, there is no Long Island bias here, but Kris Statlander should get the win. I don't think it makes much sense for Kris Statlander to be a transitional champion from Toni Storm to Toni Storm. You see how that kind of doesn't make sense? It would make sense if, she beat Toni and then, Mercedes Moné was like, hey, you know what? Let's go. Let's run it. Title for title. And she beats Kris. That would suck. But thankfully, Mercedes is not going to be at the show. So, cool. One more thing I would really like to note is that I really want to see what Toni Storm does without the title and with a clean, not shocking roll-up loss on her record. How is she going to take a clean, flat loss to Kris Statlander? Kris hits her with the Saturday Night Fever, wins the match clean as a dream, shoulders down, Tony's looking up at the lights. How does Toni take that going forward? I think that'll be something that she does really well, hopefully. So, yeah, give me Kris Statlander. Next up, the penultimate, what I believe could be the penultimate match or the main event, depending on how Tony Khan decides to go. It's the I Quit match. Darby Allin, Jon Moxley. God, where are they going to stick forks this time? What limb is getting stabbed with a fork? I genuinely am curious. All fork jokes aside, Darby Allin needs to get this win. I think this is where Darby gets his big win. If you believe that Darby was going to be the one originally to beat Mox for the title and then was like, no, I have to go climb Mount Everest, this was probably the match. This was it. Maybe instead of a Texas Death, it was supposed to be I Quit for the title, and then maybe kayfabe, Mox would take some time off. Either way, I think Mox might take some time off after this because I think Darby's getting the win. Like I said, this is going to be Darby's big moment. He's going to vanquish the Death Riders all by himself. And then, I don't know, fantasy book a little bit, but maybe the Death Riders jump Mox after the match for quitting. They see that as a weakness, and Mox now has to take on the monsters he's created. Sort of a Bloodline-esque kind of situation, but I don't think it's terrible. Finally, we have for the AEW Men's World Championship, Hangman Adam Page is defending his title against Samoa Joe. I love Joe. Joe is one of my top 3 wrestlers, and he ain't 3. You know where he is. He's 2. Let's be honest. He's number 2. But he's awesome. Love Joe. This build-up has been very short, but I think this build-up has been exactly what it needs to be. 2 rough sons of bitches who just kind of had a miscommunication with each other, and now they got to settle it with some fights. Some fisticuffs. Simple as that. It reminds me of the time in Ring of Honor with Joe, where he kind of got into a little shoving match, and then, boom, they're in the ring. Match. Boom. Done. Perfect. this is kind of, I think, a callback a little bit to that, you know? And to be fair, this is all Joe's fault because Hangman did hand him the title and Joe just like stood there like a tree, you know, arms not out at all. So kind of Joe's fault on that one. But I'm ready to see Hangman get something meaty, something good, a good storyline, something long. I'm tired of the short reigns. I'm tired of the, not short reigns, tired of the short stories that he's been doing. I get he's like building up accolades. He's beaten former champions, you know, future champions and Kyle Fletcher and stuff like that. But I'm really ready to see him do something akin to what him and Kenny had, or what him and Swerve had, or even like what him and Ospreay had in that singles match at Double or Nothing. Just had a lot of story caked into it. So just give me some gaga, as Brian Zane would say. Where's the gaga for Hangman's title reign? That is it for my AEW Wrestledream predictions. What do you guys think about my predictions? Let me know down in the comments below. What do you think about my little fantasy booking things that I did in the video as well? Let me know about all that down in the comments below. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, share this video with your friends, and hit the bell to stay up to date on all things Nacho Wrestling. And I will see you guys next time.